See, now we'll take up the fluid mosaic model. In the previous section, we had dealt with the structure of mitochondria. Now we'll take up the structure of the cell membrane. Very important, cell membrane in prokaryotes is not the cell membrane you can see in the video, but it is also phospholipid structure, structurally similar to eukaryotes, but chemically or composition wise it is different. This structure is actually a eukaryotic cell membrane structure. Basically it has, we said that fluid mosaic model will deal with many models of cell membrane has been bestowed to the world, but fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson is one of the most accepted models of the world. Fine, what it says that, let me explain it to you. It is made up of, cell membrane is made up of, wait a minute, made up of proteins, lipids. Mainly, adding this, we can refer to it as phospholipids. Made up of phospholipids. See, you can see that these are lipid molecules, these blue color ones, and in between are the integral protein, that is between the two layers. See, this is also lipid layer, this is also lipid layer. Both can be referred to as the lipid bilayer, and the proteins between them are the integral proteins. They are also referred to as tunnel proteins because they have special channels to permit the entry exit of macro micro molecules along it. So it facilitates the diffusion, osmosis process, etc. Basically, it is not so that only phospholipids are the main constituent of this fluid plasma membrane, but also sugars, peripheral sugars, in sugars I may refer oligosaccharides, and peripheral proteins mean the proteins which were internal, they were integral, which were on the periphery, that is on the surface, they are the peripheral proteins. So basically, but I know that to know better of plasma membrane, we want to know the structure of the plasma membrane. So let us take that up. Wait a minute, I'll let you know what is the structure of the plasma membrane. I think this diagram and the diagram that I had shown you, this one was a very simplified one. But this one is a bit complex. You can see the sugar, oligosaccharides, proteins on the periphery, and the integral proteins, the peripheral proteins, and yes, this was left. Cholesterol is present between the integral proteins to stabilize the membrane. But do you know that this membrane is fluid in nature, or we must say, but the lipids are quasi-fluid, semi-fluid in nature, and they show flip-flop movement. That is, these lipids, they're gonna show flip-flop movement. Like this, like this, like this. So like they keep on moving like this. The membrane is in semi-fluid state, fine. And you see it helps in secretion, endocytosis, and cell division, etc. Main point is that you would wonder that is cholesterol a very important part of all the cell membranes? No, it is not so. In prokaryotes, minute. In prokaryote, pentacyclic hopanoid is present instead of cholesterol. Pentacyclic hopanoids. Like if we deal with what is it all about, fluid mosaic model is also referred to as the proteins are in this iceberg in the sea of the lipid molecule. That is, the proteins are actually like the icebergs in the sea of lipids. Like proteins are floating due to the lipids. Now one more thing, that these lipids have, they are represented by this structure, and basically this is referred to as the water loving part, hydrophilic part, water loving, and this is water fearing part, hydrophobic part. So here water content is there, so it always points towards it, and this part which is water fearing always points away from this, because we know about non-polar part and polar end. Polar end would dissolve in water, while the non-polar one would protrude towards the integral proteins. Like there are different types of proteins. Another diagram that may clear you that this is the intrinsic protein partially embedded, and we have extrinsic proteins also. Fine. Glycoproteins, lipoproteins, like glycoproteins, glycolipids are also there, like different types of compounds are there. Mainly you need to understand that cellulose, hemicellulose, cellularic acid, they are all the parts of cell wall, not at all cell membrane. Cell wall is different from cell membrane. We'll deal with the cell wall structure also in the next segment. Thank you.